This is Matthew from Noteful.com. And just like Lauren said last week, each Wednesday we're going to be taking a submission from our Noteful forum for either TOEFL speaking or writing, and we're going to review it each week here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed last week's submission and the review of the writing task. This week we're going to switch it up and we're going to take a submission from a student's recording for question 1 and 2, the independent task for the TOEFL speaking section. So what we're going to be doing first is reviewing the question. We're going to listen to the recording and then we're going to review that student's work. If you want your content to be reviewed here on Wednesday, here on YouTube, just wait till the end of the video. We're going to show you precisely how to do that. In the meantime, let's get started. All right, so let's look at this week's question. Let's read it together, and then if you'd like, you can get a pen and pad, and you can write down some notes that we go over here. And if you have any questions, of course, you could always email us, and at the email that we have at the bottom of this page, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. So let's get started. If you were going on vacation for 2 weeks, would you prefer to spend time in fewer cities or less time in many cities? Use specific reasons and details to support your answer. So we're about to listen to the student's recording, so if you'd like to take some time to develop your own notes and to write down any content that we might be going over, you might want to pause this video now and get a pen and paper. Let's listen to the student's recording.
If you ask me, I would like to spend more time in a few cities rather than spending less time in many cities on my vacation for a reason. First, I think that more time you spend on the traveling time, the less time you will be spending on your trip. For example, some country may have many long distance from other to other city, like United States. When you travel from city or state to state, it takes time more than 5 or 6 hours. That's why I prefer to choose to traveling into city.
All right. So I hope that you had some really great ideas and you were able to assess the student's work and maybe even compare it to your own. So what I'd like to go over first here is the speed in which the student was speaking. Even though it was clear, and it may not be clear to some people, to a native speaker, I think that the student here was rather clear for the most part, which is a great advantage to have. You always want that clarity and smoothness. But the one thing that automatically is going to turn a TOEFL grader off and is going to take off points is the speed. The amount of time it takes to get to the point, to get through the introduction, is too long. And a lot of students do hesitate, and the speed in which we speak, either very slow or very fast, is really going to affect how we do on question 1 and 2. So as we noticed here, it took a long time just to get through the introduction and get to the main point. Remember, we only have 45 seconds. We have to use it as wisely and efficiently as we possibly can. We want to find a moderate pace, use natural pauses, and try not to go too slow or too fast, because we have to get to the point right away so we can get through each example that we provide if you're providing 2 reasons and 2 examples. So here, automatically, the TOEFL grader probably won't even listen to the whole recording. They have just enough information to realize this student will not be able to get out all the information they need to get halfway through because they're going to run out of time. And that's automatically to get that student below a 4 out of 4. Obviously, everybody wants to get that, that 4 out of 4 to get their goal score. So it's really important that we focus on that. The first 6 seconds has to be really quick. State exactly what your position is. And we're going to say, in my view, which position you prefer, and we have to move forward very quickly. Another point I want to bring up here is timing. Timing and speed are going to be really closely connected here. The quicker you speak, the less time you're going to have, right? So we're going to go really quick and you might end early. The slower you speak, the more time that you're going to need to say everything, which is going to end up having you run out of time. So that's going to be something that we really want to focus on as well. So you want to focus on timing mastery. 6 seconds for your first introduction, and then we want to distribute the time evenly between each reason and example from that point. So you don't want to rush or over-explain. So a lot of students do over-explain in their examples, and it's really important not to do that. You want to trust yourself to transition from the first example to the second example. And we see here that the content that the student was providing was actually really good. So this is another point that I want to discuss, which is adjusting our content. When you're practicing, you might have these types of recordings that you are practicing with where it's too slow, you're going over time, you might not be getting to your point. Don't worry, it's just practice. It's not that big of a deal. What we're going to do though is listen to this recording, and we have to assess it ourselves. When I listen to this recording, obviously the timing needs some work. The speed definitely needs some work. We need to speed up a little bit more so we can get that content out and get those points that we need for our goal score. But we also want to maintain a sense of accurate, objective assessment. And what I mean by that is the example that was given towards the end was really good. I presume that the student actually lives in the United States because they use the United States as an example. That going from one state to the other, or one side of the country to the other, takes a really long time. And that's the point we can work from, right? We want to be able to take that one example, and then what we can do is start developing the details that surround that. Once we have that topic, going from one side of the country to the next, it's going to take a really long time. That's when we can work from something, because we have that foundation that we're going to need to build from. So you don't want to get discouraged if you're running out of time. You want to look at the negative part, obviously, right? We want to make sure that we're doing everything on time and doing everything perfectly, but you also want to build up your strengths, even if it's just a little point, just like that. We didn't get the whole example out, but we can use the topic, spend some time on it, start brainstorming and outlining content based on that one idea that we have. And you want to ask yourself who, what, where, when, and why, and connect that reason. We want to be able to do that very quickly. So you want to be sure to get the main ideas. Outlining is going to be absolutely crucial. So choosing a personal example here with the details that are necessary to illustrate your point is what is missing from a lot of students' work. And that's not going to get you a 4 out of 4. It's just going to get you a fair score. So in this case, what we really want to focus on here is speeding up. We want to be able to follow the timer, trust ourselves to transition from the introduction to the first, then second, and then the conclusion, the first and second example. We want to be friends with the timer. We don't want to be stressed or anxious about it. We don't want it to overwhelm us. We don't want to speak too slow or too fast, right? Because we won't have enough time to get out what we need to say. And then our content needs to be adjusted. We want to get the main points. We want to say exactly the main points that are going to connect to the answer, the question itself, as well as the reason that we are displaying here when we're telling the TOEFL grader about. Without that connection, without answering why, without those main points and those details, we won't be able to get a high score. And that's something that we really need to focus on. And I know it's hard because you only have 15 seconds. The more you prepare every day, the more you brainstorm, the more you answer these 5 questions: who, what, where, when, and why. This is what's going to get you in that mindset of being able to answer question 1 and 2. Then we're going to see that carryover for question 3 through 6, that confidence. You're going to feel prepared, you're going to know what you want to do, and you're going to do really well on the rest of the speaking test. So, for this particular response, this student would probably get between an 18 and a 20. That might seem like a really low score, but don't worry. This is a starting point, right? Everybody has to start somewhere when we're developing a new skill. So we want to help you be able to develop that skill, to prepare, to get the score that you need, and to feel as confident as you possibly can. Don't worry, everybody's going to feel nervous, but you want to feel more confident than you do nervous. You want to be able to perform regardless of how you feel or how stressed and nervous you feel, because you're going to feel both, confident and prepared, while you're also going to feel a little bit stressed and nervous. We want to contain that to move forward to get your goal score. Now, what we're going to be doing here is telling you exactly how you're going to submit your work and how you might be able to get your work reviewed here on Wednesday through YouTube for the benefit of you as well as everybody else taking the TOEFL. So I want you to click the link below, down below, right in the About section, and I want you to go to notefulforum.com. You're going to see a list of questions, and each week we're going to be posting those new questions there for students to answer. You can submit your work there, your essay, or your recordings, and we'll be the ones reviewing your work and possibly reviewing it here on YouTube. If you're following us on Facebook as well, you'll see a notice there, an announcement each week that we've posted new questions, just in case you forget. In the meantime, if you have any questions or concerns about anything at all, you can text us or send us an email at studenthelp@noteful.com. We really look forward to working with you, and we want to help you get the score you need so you don't have to worry about the TOEFL ever again. Good luck with your studies, and we hope to hear from you soon.